वेलकम टू प्रिंस शॉर्ट एंड हाउस। ट्रायल पैसेज 80 वर्ड्स ए मिनट हम डिक्टेट कर रहे हैं। स्पेशल जिन स्टूडेंट्स का पंजाब एंड हरियाणा कोर्ट चंडीगढ़ हाई कोर्ट का जो स्किल टेस्ट होने वाला है, जिनका अभी 18 और 19 दिसंबर को सीपीटी होगा, उसके बाद स्किल टेस्ट जल्दी हो जाएगा। तो जैसे मैं आपको सजेस्ट करता रहता हूँ कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ट्रांसक्रिप्शन कीजिए। हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल पर बहुत सारे आपको लीगल डिक्टेशन मिलेंगी, आप लिखिए और कम से कम 3-4 ट्रांसक्रिप्शन डेली कीजिए और ट्रायल पैसेज को विशेष रूप से कीजिए। अपनी गलतियाँ निकालिए। कुछ स्टूडेंट के क्वेश्चन होते हैं कि आपकी स्पीड ज़्यादा होती है, फ्लक्चुएट करते हो, तो ऐसा तो हर स्किल टेस्ट में होता है, डिपार्टमेंट कोई भी हो। ये नहीं होता कि 80 की स्पीड से 80 एक्यूरेट बोलेंगे, बिकॉज स्टूडेंट सिलेक्शन उन्हीं का होता है जो थोड़ा सा स्पीड इनकी अच्छी होती है। और पर्टिकुलर कोर्ट के केस में जाएं, कोर्ट सिलेक्शन में जाएं, तो वो तो आपको बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस देनी होती है। 80 की स्पीड नॉर्मली उन्होंने कहा है, लेकिन वो फ्लक्चुएट करेंगे। सिलेक्शन उनको बेटर बढ़िया स्टूडेंट चाहिए, अच्छे स्टूडेंट चाहिए, अच्छे स्टेनोग्राफर चाहिए। तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं। 80 वर्ड्स ए मिनट, 800 वर्ड्स लीगल डिक्टेशन। बी रेडी, स्टार्ट। Coming to the facts of the present case, it cannot be said that the defense taken by the defendant is totally sham. There are certain circumstances which may prima facie raise some doubts about the credibility of plaintiff's version and lend some credence to the defense taken by the defendant that the checks in question were without consideration. Although as per the plaintiff, 4 checks were presented to the banker and each time they were dishonored, not a single letter was written by the plaintiff to the defendant about the return of these checks as unpaid. Further, learned counsel for the plaintiff made candid admission to the effect that no notice was served on the defendant before filing the present suit. Why plaintiff would not write a single letter or serve notice upon the defendant for payment of the alleged outstanding amount before filing the suit is baffling to the mind. Now let us examine this aspect further in the context of the submissions made by the defendant. It is not explained by the plaintiff as to on what account these payments were received. Thus, the defendant has raised good defense and a triable issue indicating that he has fair and bona fide defense. Moreover, this court in the case of Suri and Suri Private Limited held that when the suit is filed on the basis of several dishonored checks not presented at all for encashment, relief claimed would be outside the scope of Order 37 of CPC and would not be maintainable. The plaintiff will have to be dealt with in ordinary way. No doubt there may be some justification in the stand taken by the plaintiff, but for filing the suit under Order 37 of the Code of Civil Procedure, it was still necessary for the plaintiff to present the remaining checks to the bank. Admittedly, 7 out of 11 checks given by the defendant were not presented for payment. Therefore, the suit under Order 37 would not be maintainable. It is settled rule of law that wherever the defense put forth by the applicant defendant is bona fide and raises tribal issues, the applicant defendant would be entitled to leave to defend. This rule wastes pervasive judicial discretion in the court to grant, refuse, or grant conditional leave to defend the suit by the defendant. This discretion, of course, has to be exercised in accordance with settled principles of law. There is a dual purpose sought to be served under the specific provisions of October 37 of the Code. One is to provide expeditious disposal of the claim by adopting a recourse to summary procedure, while the other is to provide a safeguard to the interest of the plaintiff. In other words, if the court is satisfied with the claim of the plaintiff and the fact that the defendant has only sham or moonshine defense, the court may refuse to grant leave to defend and pass the decree forthwith. But in other cases, the court may grant leave with or without a condition. The court strikes a balance between the case of the plaintiff and the defense raised by the defendant. The propositions laid down by the Supreme Court in its various decisions may be summed up as follows. If the defendant satisfies the court that he has a good defense to the claim on merits or raises a tribal issue, the defendant is entitled to an unconditional leave. And if the defendant discloses such facts as may be deemed sufficient to entitle him to defend, the court may impose conditions as to time or trial or mode of trial. On the other hand, if the defendant has no defense or a sham or illusory defense, the defendant is not entitled to leave to defend. In the case of International Computers Consultants versus Home Computer Services Limited, a division bench took the view that when triable issues are raised with bona fide and firm defense, leave should be granted. But if the defense is frivolous or vexatious, leave should be refused. Where there is reasonable doubt and the court feels it just reasonable, the court may impose such condition while granting the leave as it may deem fit and proper. Applying the said principle to the present case, I have no hesitation in affirming the view taken by the learned trial court that the defendant may have raised tribal issue, but it lacks bona fide. Judicial discretion to be exercised by the court has to create a balance so that none of the parties to the suit suffer avoidable prejudice. The learned trial court had only granted conditional leave to the defendant applicant, in which I see no error of jurisdiction. Above principles of law are well enunciated and accepted principles. Learned counsel appearing for the plaintiff applicant contends that this court has jurisdiction and complete case of the applicant is a sham defense. Thus, leave prayed for should be rejected. Stop.